Hey guys, what's up? It's been a minute, so I'm trying to add more content for you guys. So today I want to talk to you guys about San Pedro. San Pedro is a cactus and the active ingredient is mescaline. So I want to share with you what my journey was and maybe some insights. It was a really interesting journey. So first thing, the normal dose, to my understanding, is 4 ounces, but I actually had 2 ounces because I'm so sensitive to things, to the different medicines. I went to a friend who actually does the ceremonies, and it was really nice because it was out in nature on like a ranch type place. And the day was like, the weather was like freaking perfect. It was not too hot, not too cold. It was like just right. So, initially my questions to them was like I was trying to compare it to ayahuasca, trying to get some understanding about how it was going to affect me, when it was actually going to take hold, things like that. So what I did learn was that number one, it takes about like almost 2 hours to really kick in, because you go through different stages with this. So you drink it, and then usually you might get a little nauseous, you might purge, and then a little while later, then it just kind of like hits you. So I drank, and I was with, it was several women there, and it was about maybe about in total, let me count, one, maybe about 5 or 6 women and 3 men there. And very interesting group, and most everybody there had already journeyed. Like I've journeyed with them in other medicines before and things like that. Well, a couple of people in other medicines, but I know them because they're like my psychonaut friends. But so anyway, 2 ounces. So the first thing that happened to me was that I got a little nauseous, and I was like an hour in, so I'm still questioning my friend. I'm like, yo, what should I expect? Like, should anything be happening there? And he was like, well, you're gonna feel a little nauseous, so you know, just hang on in there. Like, do you want some more? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna sit with it. So I waited, 2 hours in. And I asked him again. I was like, well, I feel something, but I don't, I'm like not really feeling much. I was like, how long is it gonna take? He was like, well, do you want some more? And I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want any more. I'm gonna sit with this for a minute. And the funny thing is that the moment you question the medicines, usually they kick right in. So pretty much that's what happened. The next thing I knew, so around this time, so we started in the afternoon. Maybe this is around about 3 o'clock or so when it finally hit me, somewhere around maybe two or three. So anyway, so all of a sudden I jumped up. We were outside in a nice circle. I jumped up and I just started taking off like I had on layers of clothes, took off my jacket, took off a hoodie, just I had a scarf on my head, took the scarf off. I'm just taking stuff off. And I don't know why. It was like all of a sudden I feel like I have just on too many things, just too many things. And I felt this urge and this push to start walking. So I started walking, and I walked to this field. And mind you, my intention for going was that I felt like I had some tears behind my eyes, and the medicine was calling me, and I had been in the medicine with mother, and whatever it was that was going on with me, it was like mother didn't get it. So I was like, it's time for me to try grandfather. So I walked to this field, and the next thing I knew, I just bawled. I'm just crying and crying and crying. But while I was walking, I kept hearing, you are source, you are source, you are source, over and over and over again. So I get this cry out. I'm just bawling. I was so happy that I was getting that release. And then when I finally stopped crying, for some reason my guides take me through these movements to move energy through my body, or to clear or purge energy. So the next thing, and it kind of resembles almost what you would think, like Tai Chi or something like that, or Qigong. So I went through all these motions and everything. and they had me face the sun and close my eyes but look into the sun. And what was interesting when that happened was that I started seeing different bands of colors, like red, orange, yellow, and it was just so pretty. Never saw that before when I looked into the sun. Then I kept hearing, "You are source," and I was told, "Look around, look at the grass, you are the grass. Look at the dirt, you are the dirt. See the bugs, you are the bugs. Look at that old barn, you are the barn. Look at that fence, you are the fence. Touch the grass, I touch the grass. Examine the grass, this is you. See the plants, touch the plant, this is you. See the dandelion, touch the dandelion, this is you. All of these are you. Everything you see around you is you, because you are source. You are source." So literally what happened was I was just walking around and I was just touching things, touching things, touching things, touching things, and it kept being explained to me, "This is you." And they said, "Turn around. See the horse? That's you. See the cow? That's you. Even the pig, that's you." So it's like I'm looking at everything and I'm like just in appreciation and really understanding that, once again, the connectedness, that everything is one. Everything is source. We're all just different aspects or expressions of source, but it's just like cells in the body. The cells are the body, but they have different expressions. They do different things. So I said, "Who am I talking to?" I was like, "Grandfather, like, who am I talking to?" And I heard, "You. Who else would you be talking to? You are source." So basically then I had to digest again. Okay, so I'm talking to myself. And that led into me really like digesting that every time I channel, every time these different beings come through me, even the Council of 12, that ultimately it is still me, because I am source. So I went and sat down and I sat on this barrel and still looking around and just looking at everything, like I was touching a tree that the barrel was by, and just touching different things, and just really digesting that everything that I see is me. And then I purged a little bit, and my friend came to check while I started walking towards me to check on me, and I told him, I said, "I'm good, I'm good." Like, nowhere. He's like, "You good?" "I'm good." So then he turned around, and then I turned around and looked at him again, and I just watched him walking. And I looked and I said, "He is me. He's me." And I looked at everybody in the circle, and I'm like, they're all me. And the next thing I do, I yelled out his name. I said, "I love you." He's like, "I love you too, Kijana." And I told his wife, "I love you." And she's like, "I love you too, Kijana, so much." And then the other people, I was like calling their names. I'm like, "I love y'all so much." It was beautiful and expressive, and I'm holding back tears right now, because when you stop and take a moment and you start to look at people and realize that you're looking at yourself, it can change things. Another thing that happened was at one point during when my arrival, I was in a state of judgment, and another lesson that came up, like during this whole process of looking at everybody and appreciating everybody, I was told, "This is why you don't judge." Because when you judge people, you're judging yourself. This goes for the homeless person on the street. This goes for anybody in any situation. The moment you judge them, you need to realize that you're really just judging yourself. So I hope that y'all get that aspect of it. Then I wound up thinking about someone that I really, really, really love. And I wound up reaching, I was like, I need to call this person. I need to call this person. And part of me was saying, nope, stay in your journey. Like, be selfish today. Stay in your journey. Just be selfish. But I had this pressing need to talk to this person. And it was really weird because it felt like I needed this person. And I would tell you in a heartbeat that I've never needed anyone or felt the need for anyone. Like, I'm a solo dolo person. Like, usually I'm really good by myself. So I went back to the circle and I sat there for a little while and just kind of took in everybody for a moment, you know, just chilling and vibing. And the overwhelming sense of need to call this person. So I called this person. And I talked to this person. and and he said, well, hey, where are you? I said, I'm standing in a field. He said, okay, but where's everybody else? I said, they're in the circle. They're over in. He's like, well, are you supposed to be like away from everybody else? Well, I said, yeah, we can do whatever we want to do. We can walk around. It's all good. He's like, okay. So then I told him, I said, you know, have you ever needed anybody? He was like, no, I never felt like I needed anyone. I said, well, for the first time, I feel like I need someone, and I feel like I need you. And it was the weirdest feeling because even today, I really can't explain to you why I was overwhelmed with this sense of feeling like I needed a person. I still don't understand it. But that day, that is what I felt, and I felt it intensely. Like, it's weird. I mean, like, to need someone, like, I've never felt that before. That's still something that, you know, it's something I had to let go of, trying to process, because I still just don't understand it. So, you know, just take it and sit it to the side. Now, here's the interesting part. So this is what you should know. This is a long journey, but I'm not going to make it a super long thing because it's not necessary. Okay, so give you some highlights. So the other thing that you should be aware of, so the journey is like 12 to 14 hours. It's long, but the beauty of this particular medicine is that just like I'm speaking now, I can sit and hold a conversation with someone, or I can go off to myself and chill and just kind of meditate and be in the spirit world, be chilling with, you know, source, higher self, you know, on that vibe. But I sat and chose to to sit with this group, and it was more so all the ladies around, and then the men were kind of off, you know, chit chatting or whatever. And the interesting thing was that just about every woman there had channeled before. What do you all call it? What do they call it? Language, light language or something. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, you know, when people speak in different voices, different tongues, or whatever it's called. So these women all around had done this before. And one of my things for me, for protection, especially when I first started channeling, was that I would not allow other beings to come through me to take over and change my voice that was not sent through me during the course of me channeling the 12, the council. So what wound up happening to me, I was sitting there and I kept speaking this other language. Or trying, well, not didn't speak it, it was trying to come through, and it was really difficult for it to come through. And I'm going to tell you what happened to me. All of this was in so much pain, my chest, my throat, my whole jawbone, all of this, because I kept like that, like trying to get the words out. And it was like a few words would come out, and it's like right now I can't even speak it to you because literally there is a being that comes through me to speak this language. It was rough, man. So what wound up happening was I lost the ability to speak English. completely gone. Just, it was just gone. So I'm sitting there and I'm like going through this, and I'm trying to, some words would come out, and everybody's around me looking at me, all the ladies, and they're like, Kijana, just let it go, just let it come out. And I couldn't. Now it got to a point that it was so bad that I started crying because I could not get it out. Now mind you, I realized I couldn't speak English, so every time I opened my mouth to speak, the other language would try to come out. And then one of the ladies, her beautiful little daughter had come. Some of her children had come, but there was this little girl, and she was gorgeous. And I could see her light, and I said, oh my God, when I saw her walking, it was like she was walking and throwing flowers. But this is a vision that I had of her, like seeing her future. And I was trying to tell the mom, and I couldn't tell her. And so I'm sitting there just crying and crying because I wanted so bad to tell her what I saw for her daughter. It was so beautiful. And then I asked my friend, and this is so funny that I'm so emotional about this right now. I asked my friend, I did like this, like I need something to write with. And she went and found a piece of paper and a marker. And I wrote, I said, they took English away from me until I allowed this language to come through. This went on for hours. I could not speak English, and I'm sitting there crying, and this being is coming through me. So now I'm kneeling in front of the fire and speaking this other language, and I literally had my face like over the fire. And she, she was coming through me, and she took ashes and rubbed them in her head, and she was just talking and, working with the energy of the fire and just acknowledging the power and the energy of the ancestors and everything. I was aware of what she was doing, and the language would come through here and there, but she repeats these same things over and over again. I don't know what it is. So then, after that, I sit back in the chair, and everybody's still sitting around me, and they're like, I'm still struggling because literally it's only like a few words that will come out at a time, and it's like so much, like she just wanted to just spit out all this, whatever she had to say, and everybody else is talking to me. So mind you, one of the ladies sitting across from me, she and I, and then it was another lady, we were all very connected energetically. And one lady across from me, she would speak in another language, and the next thing you know, we were doing the same motions and everything. This tends to happen as a person who's, I don't know, connected to energy, and you channel these energies will come through you, and it's like they tell stories. So she's telling a story, and we're moving in sync at the same time as she's moving and telling the story. And it's like I could feel her energy, and she was sitting right across from me. And there was another young lady sitting next to her, and I had read for this lady but never met her in person, and here she is in ceremony for me. No, not read for her. She actually had reached out to me, I think from YouTube. And now she was sitting across from me. And so she was sitting there doing like this, like she was in gratitude, like deep gratitude, and she's watching everything that's going on with me, and she was crying, and it was crazy. And so it was almost like it got ridiculous to all the women around me. They were like, just speak. And then literally one would start speaking in another language, another one would, and another one, and they all start speaking in another language. They're like, hey, Johnny, just let it go. It's time to release your throat chakra. Just let it go. It's okay. It's okay. And I was crying, and I just said, the words I could get out was, I hurt. That was it. I hurt. And then I just cried and cried and cried. And at some point more of the language came out. And then the other lady, the one that was in gratitude, kept being in gratitude, she had come to me and tried to hug me, and I told her, like, no, not now. And then she felt the need to come back to me again. And she stood in front of me, and then she was like, "Can I hug you now?" And I was like, "Yeah." You know, it was like I really needed a hug at that point because I was struggling so bad. And she hugged me, and then she stood in front of me, and she did some motions, like breaking motions and movements energetically. And when she did that, I felt the energy lift off of me and go, and I looked and I said, "I am Kijana." And everybody was like, "Wow, you can speak again," you know. And I was like, "Yes." And so slowly it came back. But for the rest of the night, here and there, the language would come back here and there. So the rest, that was the most profound thing, the crazy thing that happened to me during that journey, was losing the ability to speak English in order for me to learn to release my throat chakra. I can say since then, I went back into medicine with Mother, and I went into medicine with the intent to release my throat chakra. And I did, and the being that's coming through me, her name is Ishtar. Ishtar. And so she comes through and speaks through me in another language. So so after that, basically I wound up channeling and giving some messages for people. More so reading them, not so much channeling, more so reading. It's kind of like one and the same in a sense. And then you know, we hung out, we talked and everything, and I tried to go to sleep at around 12. And this medicine is relentless. It will not let you go until it's done with you. Like with Mother, you can doze off here and there. No, this one ain't playing. So literally, I didn't get to go to sleep until 2. So it was like almost 12 hours exactly from the time that it actually kicked in. Grandfather medicine is amazing. It's probably the most gentle medicine that allows you to journey that I've had thus far. It's more so like, "Hey, come on, let's go for a walk." And it's like literally like you're walking with someone and they're really just listening to you, you know, very attentive, and that they answer the questions, or either they pose the question back to you for you to find the answer. I highly recommend it as one, like if you're new to the whole psychedelic and plant medicine scene, I think that it's probably one of the best ones to take as an introduction to the medicines, because it's so gentle, man. It's just a really long journey, so you just got to be prepared, you know, for the length of the journey. Another interesting thing is that because it's cactus, it's like, excuse me, you be drinking water like crazy, right? You need to drink to stay hydrated, but the weird thing is that like if you purge, none of the water comes up. It's like you just you're retaining the water. And that was really interesting to me. So every time I purged, it was more so me purging up a lot of mucus. I think that's all I have for you all. I'm going to flip through my journal a little bit right quick, because I was trying to make sure that I didn't leave out any of the really good insights that I had. So the one of the things that the lady kept saying, she kept saying in Loktek. I can't say it like her, but she just kept saying in Loktek over and over and over again. I did write that down. And yeah, that's pretty much it, what I got for you guys. So that's San Pedro. So happy journeying. And if you guys want to reach out, you can reach me on Facebook at Kijana Martin CO. That's like my business page. If you want a recommendation. And but the thing is that contact me when if you're medicine free, like that's really a big thing, or if you're prepared to get off medicines for at least 2 weeks prior to doing a ceremony. No heart issues, no strokes, no mental illnesses, no high blood pressure. Okay. All right, love and light to you all. Take care so much.